Hi, welcome back to the channel. What I'm working on today is the Interceptor again. I'm getting through the jobs I'm doing for my alterations and what have you. I'm going to remove, what I got it at this stage, the EVAP canister. Now there's been quite a few on YouTube already, you can see, but what I'm doing, I've had a look at how it's piped, how it's wired and what does what on the bike. Now I think Hitchcock's sell an EVAP canister delete kit, they call it, I think. So do a few other places. I've seen you can get them on eBay now. Well, you don't actually need any of that at all. What I'm going to show is going to save you a few quid. Like, as you know, let's have a look underneath. Put as much light as I can on it so you can see. Oh, you can, yeah. This here, this is your EVAP canister. Now, whether you can see, there's 3 pipes. There's one here, one in the middle, which is here, then there's one end of my finger there at the end. Right, now we'll talk about this pipe for a start, the one on the end of the EVAP canister. Now, when I first got this, I think it was probably one of the hot days, which we have many. I was sat on the bike and I thought, I'd been out and I thought I can smell petrol. And I didn't really, I had a look round and I couldn't see no leaks on the bike or anything. Then every time I went out, when it was warm, or when I filled it up or when I got back, there's a smell of fuel. And I checked all round the tank, the throttle bodies, everywhere. I couldn't find nothing. And I just didn't understand it. And I've had the tank off since and had a good look then. There's no leaks or nothing. Yet I could always smell fuel. Well, due to me having a look at this EVAP canister, I've actually found out what it is. The pipe on the inside, the little one, there where my finger's waggling about, that one there, that goes to the solenoid valve. And what that does is when you start the bike up, the ECU opens a little electric valve for a few seconds. And what the idea is, it sucks fuel vapour out of this canister. It shouldn't be full of fuel, which is what's happening to all of them, believe it or not. It sucks the vapour out and sucks it into the engine. I'll show you when I get back up off the floor again where that goes. This middle pipe, that's coming from the overflow of the tank, right? So if you used to fill your bike up to the top and you overflowed, it'd run down this pipe into this canister. Now that's what people think is the prime reason it's there for. But what the canister's for is actually to suck up, or not suck up if you want, but the vapour from the fuel tank. Say, well, every hot day you're going to get vapour off your fuel tank. You've been out for a ride, you pull it up, put it in the garage or leave it parked up, and the vapour will come down here into this, especially overnight. Then when you start your bike up, the vapour is supposed to be sucked through that little pipe there, through this valve and pushed into the throttle bodies. So it's not just for overflowed fuel, it's actually fuel vapour, that's what this is designed for. But what seems to be happening is overflow fuel is getting into the canister and the canister is like carbon pellets inside it and they should be loose rattling about. When we take this off, I'll show you. Mine don't rattle about because they're just turned into mush. It's not working at all. And you'll often, when you get the canister off, put it on the floor, there'll be petrol coming out of it. Right, so that's how it actually works. So the canister is really the one from this tank is here. That's fuel and vapour going into the canister. This one here, the little pipe at the end where my finger is, as you can see. When you start the bike up initially, it opens the solenoid and it sucks the vapour out. That's what it's supposed to do, suck vapour out through the solenoid valve into the inlet throttle bodies, and it reburns it back in the engine. It's this green whatever crap like they've got to deal with nowadays. Now this pipe here, the one we started off with, we'll just pull that off. believe it or not, all this one here is, with this pipe here, is a breather. Now I'll show you. Now the reason I can smell fuel is because that pipe I've just pulled off runs up here, look, that's my finger. It goes up, into a U-bend and out. That's it. There's nothing on it. Which sort of contradicts the thing of what the EVAP canister is doing. This pipe is why I can smell fuel vapour, because the fuel vapour is coming out of the canister up through this breather pipe. That's why you can always smell fuel when you sat on your bike, when it is stopped or it's hot. There's got to be a reason for it. It's probably to stop, I don't know, maybe to stop the pressure building up in the EVAP canister. But it's defeating the object really, isn't it? We've just pulled that pipe off. This one, pulled that off the EVAP canister. All you've got to do with that is that. Pull it off. Because it's doing absolutely nothing. You don't need that. We don't want that one at all. Right, what we do for a start. Right, so we pulled this one off. That's the breather. We don't need that at all. And all that's doing is venting fuel vapour out of here into fresh air. So what's the point of having this on in the first place? So pull this pipe off. This is your overflow from the tank. Oh, they're a bit tight. There's a little clip it sits in. Just put it up there out your way for the time being. Pull this one off, which is the inside one. Oh, this pipe is going to the solenoid, which is underneath. If you take the front sprocket aluminium casing off the engine, then look down under the swinging arm behind the airbox, you'll see it. That's your resistor. Now you've got a little 6mm bolt here, that's 10mm spanner. Undo that. All that does is remove this little plate, as you can see, just fell down. And take it out of the way. Okay. Now EVAP canister, this is on a slide on this plate. Just push it at the back. Just give it a wiggle. There you go. Out it comes. Move that pipe out the road. Just got to wiggle it about. It will come out. There we go. Sit her out. Now all that leaves us here is this pipe. Put that there so you can see it. That's the one from the tank. Now this one, that's the one that goes to the solenoid. And it goes from here to the solenoid, from the solenoid to the inlets on the throttle bodies. I'll show you that now. Right, if you look in here, in front of where the throttle cables are, there's a little pipe, look there. And it fits on, there's one there, and there's one exactly the same the other side. And that goes to the inlet. So when you start your engine up, it's sucking the vapour up. It comes up this pipe here, into the throttle body, where you can see if my finger is, then into the engine. The engine's supposed to burn it, and the fumes obviously go out the exhaust and out the back. That's how it works in theory. Now we've pulled these pipes off, we're going to blank these off. Well, I'll just go down below and I'll show you what I'm going to do first. You can buy the kits of these, Hitchcock sell them, I think they're about £20-30 or something like that, plus your postage. The pipe that's on here, this one, this went onto the EVAP canister and it goes to the valve solenoid over here. Now what you're doing is, they say take the solenoid out, disconnect it, and you plug a resistor in. A little plug they give you. All it is a resistor. I think it's 3-4 ohms. I'm just guessing off the top of my head. I don't think it'd be any more than that. And you plug that in, and all it's doing is confusing the ECU on the bike to think that everything's still connected up as stock. That's all that does. It doesn't do anything else. So when you turn your ignition on, basically For you, it's stopping the engine management light coming on. That's what it's doing, because it still thinks the EVAP canister's there. Obviously it can't even open the valve or nothing because you've removed it. I've checked the wiring out, and I'm going to leave my valve in. A, it makes the job a lot quicker. B, you don't need to buy anything because the valve's still in, which has got it uses the valve as a resistor. The valve is the resistor. Making it sound easy now. So just leave it in. You don't need to do anything with it. But because you're leaving the valve in, at the moment, when we turn the ignition on, start the engine up, the valve's going to open and it's going to try and suck what vapour there is up through the pipe and in here, then into the engine and out. Well, by leaving the valve on, if the valve got a bit dodgy and didn't shut properly, what you'd have is an air leak down at the valve, which can be what happens because the solenoid valve gets cracked up, stops open, and it's just sucking crap out of there and air into the engine, which is making the engine run weak. If you trace these pipes just here back, and it only comes through here with my fingers, it's this one here, look. Right, now them pipes in there, if you go on eBay, you can get 2 little rubber silicone caps. Just pop the pipes off and push the caps on either side. That's all you got to do. And if you buy the EVAP kit, delete kit, it comes with 2 of these. But all you need to do is them 2 pipes go into a T-piece, which come to this pipe, which I can show you back here, but you can maybe just see it moving. Right, that goes to the T-piece on these. All I'm going to do here, I'm going to cut this here, a pair of snippers. Right, so here, I'm going to keep it this side of the bracket. It should, there we go, snipped off. Pull that out. I've got a bolt. 6mm bolt. So I ain't got Sue here today. I'm going to screw this bolt into that pipe, but I can't do it one-handed, so you just have to hang on a minute. Screw that into the pipe. Wind it in. It's quite tight fit, this is. Now, as you can see, I've wound the bolt in it. That's sealed this pipe off, it won't leak anything from that. I'll leave this here for time being. What I've got to do, I'm going to put that behind there. This pipe will stop where it is. So now, these pipes can't suck any air in because the pipe here is blanked off. This is a lot better when I've got Sue to work the camera for me. Very difficult on my own to try and do everything and show you at the same time. Alright, this here is the one from the tank. This now is just going to be your overflow. What will happen now is any fuel that comes out of the tank or vapour, your vapour will come out of here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to snip this off so it's straight and put an extension on it, feed it down behind this bracket and it will just pop out the bottom down here. Just like all the bikes I've done since I was a lad. Carburetor overflows, absolutely everything. Just had extended pipes that drop down behind your swinging arm usually onto the road. So that is all actual fact you need to do. This one here, which goes to the solenoid. Yeah, this pipe goes to the solenoid. I should cut that off at the back. It's doing nothing at all, that. And what will happen is now when you turn the ignition on, your bike will still open that valve. So the ECU, as far as the ECU is concerned, the EVAP canister's still in place, which obviously it isn't. Now you don't have to put this EVAP canister back on. Let's have a look at it. This is it here, look. I wonder if there's any fuel in mine. There's nothing coming out of this one. Well, it's wet in the end, I can see it. But this bike hasn't been running for quite a while. You can leave that off if you wish. Now, behind here, while you're doing it, you can see a regulator rectifier in there. Just there, look. I'm going to move that while I've got this off and relocate that. But I'm not doing that now because it's not a 5-minute job and I've got to extend all the wiring. But as you can see, the back of the engine and what wiring there is now exposed. So, just for the sake of the film, I'm going to put the EVAP canister back in. I'll show you why. Oh, yeah, I've got fuel. Here, look. That's fuel dripping out of that. Now this canister is supposed to have pellets in there, which I should be able to shake this and hear them. Nothing at all. That's because the pellets are soaked with fuel and virtually they've turned into mush in this idea. So this is useless, absolutely useless. I think the bike's only done 6,500 kilometres, something like that. If you want to be green, it's going to be an expensive time for you, isn't it? I don't know how much these canisters cost. Right, but anyway, I'm going to put mine back in. Which isn't a hard job, I don't think. No, there we go. Sit it back in the bracket. Push it back. Just locked it into place. Then put your little bracket back in. So just do mine loosely. Show you. That's it. All that's doing is stopping this from sliding this way out. Now the reason I'm going to put it back in, I'll probably cut the pipes off it actually, these little pipes, just take them off so it's tidy. It's because this is stopping the crap off the wheel going into the back of the engine. Without this something in here, any crap off the wheel is going to fly in the back of there and get all over the back of the engine, over that wiring. And if you don't remove your regulator rectifier and place it somewhere else, it's going to get plastered. So I'm just putting mine back in. It's only made of plastic, it's no weight, you're not weight saving by taking it off. It doesn't weigh hardly anything. Not the best of filming today, I'm afraid. These sort of jobs, I really need Sue here. I think she's gone off to get her hair done or something. Whatever it is women do like. Just run through that again. Is pull the pipes off the EVAP canister. As you look at it, the left hand one, which was this one here with the bend on the top, which was sat in here, that's just a breather. Just pull that out, it's doing nothing. Plus, well, I think it's contradicting why the EVAP canister's there actually. Your next pipe, which is this one here, which goes to here. Find it on here. If you wiggle it about, you'll see it moving under here. Cut that off, put a bolt in it. So what it means now is when the engine starts, it cannot suck fresh air into the engine. What it means is you've effectively got an air leak if you don't block that one off. Got an air leak, it's going to be sucking in air constantly all the time the bike's running, which the bike won't run great, plus eventually it's going to burn the valves out because the wrong mixture's going into the bike. The pipe, this is the other half of it here. You can either, this goes straight to the the EVAP solenoid. You can either just leave that there, it won't hurt nothing. And the one from the solenoid back to the canister, you can cut that off and just poke it out of the way. Now, let's have a look. Just to prove it's going to be okay. The bike's going to be noisy. Now, as you can see, the engine management light there on the clocks is on. when I start the bike, that should go out. Oh, I need a bit of a thing here. This is one of the things I've done on my mods. Yeah, as you can see, engine management lights out, bike's sticking over nice. I'll turn that off, loud with no silencers on, isn't it? Yeah, engine management went straight out, bike ticks over, perfect. So it's just an easy, simple way of doing it. If you want to buy the kit, you can do. All it's going to do, you're spending about £30 plus postage to remove that solenoid to replace something. All it's doing, it's acting as a resistor. So just leave the solenoid in, it won't make any difference at all. Right, I hope this was useful for you. I think Sue's going to have a bit of a job cutting this one. I hope this was interesting and easy for you. Any comments, leave them down below as normal. Please subscribe and we'll see you again in the next video. Cheers.